Yeah, this is just wrong. The fact of the matter is, while the English Premier League is probably the best league in the world right now, it hasn't always been. And if anything, it's a fairly recent thing that it's genuinely just surpassed and separated itself from La Liga and the Serie A. Throughout the majority of the existence of the Premier League, when they quit calling it the First Division, the best league in the world was Serie A, the Italian league. Through the 90s into the early 2000s, Serie A was the place to play. Then La Liga surpassed it, especially with the financial problems within Italy. And then now, in the last 5, maybe 10 years, the Premier League has surpassed it. But maybe the most important point of all, this whole, you couldn't do it in England, you wouldn't be able to do those skills in England stuff, is literally not the reason why the Premier League is the best league in the world now. If anything, that whole mentality was one of the reasons Serie A and La Liga used to be better than the Premier League. Because only recently have Premier League teams really started to adapt continental European tactical systems, embrace South American talents. If you watch the Premier League from before 2010 to the 90s, the number of Brazilian and Argentinian players in the league is incredibly low because all of the best Brazilian and Argentinian players were playing in either Spain, Italy, or elsewhere. Even more of them were playing in the Bundesliga than in the Premier League. But in the modern Premier League, that's a thing of the past. And while I don't want to completely credit it to Pep Guardiola is the one that finished this transition. One could actually say Arsene Wenger began it. But the fact of the matter is, now the Premier League teams aren't playing the super direct, super fast-paced style of soccer anymore. They are instead playing technical passing soccer for the most part. And this has led to a much larger influx of technical, talented players, both from continental Europe and from South America. Now, money is the biggest factor. Fact of the matter is that the Premier League just pays way more than any other league in the world. In fact, with the exception of teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and maybe a team like Internazionale, even the mid-level Premier League teams are paying more than the big teams in the other European leagues. However, we can just look at the records of the 90s and the 2000s. Serie A dominated the Champions League and the UEFA Cup. And then when we get into the 2010s, it was La Liga dominating the Champions League and the Europa League. And only recently has the Premier League truly taken over as the best league in the world. But here's the thing. That's not going to stay forever. They're eventually going to get challenged. And what I think is interesting is that challenge very likely could be coming from North America with MLS.